Hello. So we will bring, sorry, thank you. I was using my mom voice, could you tell? I would like to bring our Board of Education regular meeting on this Tuesday, November 19th to order, please. If I could start with a roll call, please.
6 o'clock p.m.
Look at us.
Dr. Michael Thomas,
Present.
Lauren Dowden,
Absent with notes.
David Shepherd,
Present.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Present.
Denise Jones, yes, Michael Wallmiller,
Present.
Colleen Clemzak.
Present.
All are here and accounted for.
Accounted for, excellent. If we could stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If we could, my board, take a glance at the agenda, and if there are no changes to be made, if I could have a first motion to approve the agenda as presented. Excellent. And a second?
Second.
And a roll call.
Mike Wallmiller,
Yay.
Dr. Michael Thomas,
Yay.
David Shepherd,
Yay.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes, Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. 3 for 3, right? Okay. Staff reports, please, Dr. Woodley.
Yes, our first report is from our District 124 Foundation. Sam. Busy planning for our upcoming events.
Coming up, yes.
It is going to be here before we know it. So quickly tonight, the Grinch Breakfast is coming, December 7th. We are still taking reservations. We have lots of space, lots of food. We want everyone to come and join us. We have some fun games and activities planned after you eat breakfast. Up in the gym, we're gonna have Santa and the Grinch. And some fun, exciting new things. We're gonna keep a secret. You have to show up and see.
I will be serving pancakes.
There will be pancakes.
Can I be serving?
Oh, you will be, yes,
Oh,
yes.
That is my favorite. I get to see everybody. It's lovely. Okay.
It's a fun way to kick off the Christmas season, so. But I am really here tonight to present a check to the district. Back in September on the 26th, we honored Alan Reyes and his family's dedication to our district with Kindness Day. A day for our students to show kindness to others and remember his example. So we, this year, had our shirts designed by 2 high school students. Alan would have been a senior this year. Diana Rosallo and Amaya Taylor did a fantastic job of designing a shirt. We had extras printed, and we should have had more extras printed.
Excellent.
We sold 426 shirts, which is
Nice.
outstanding. I want to thank the family for allowing the foundation to just allowing us to have one small part of all of the work that they do around Alan's birthday, but it is an absolute honor to help with the shirts and getting them out into our district and showing that love and support to them is really cool. So we have a big check.
Oh, the big check.
The
I like
big
the
check
big
is
checks.
out.
Yes.
And it is the desire of the family to donate this to the band program. The band program has, over the years, they've raised so much money that the band program is pretty well off right now. So we are going to hope that some of this money goes to our music teachers and into our elementary
Wonderful.
buildings. So this is $1,750
Gosh.
tonight.
Amazing.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you want a picture? Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
of
let's
course.
take a picture.
And I remember when we first started doing the work, they were able to repair instruments that the district already owned. They were able to bring in more stands and more actual music. They were able to purchase new music. I mean, the lives that continue to be impacted is just amazing. So as one band mom to another, right? Like,
Yeah.
amazing.
They sound even better.
Hey, yeah, there you go. New and upgraded instruments, yes, they certainly will. Amazing. How would you like us to do this?
Yes.
Great,
gotta get
you
up.
got it, nope, you got it going on. I love it, and the foundation, beautiful. Wow, 1,700. It's amazing. Thank you so much. The big check, I love the big check. I know the impact that it's had, and so the fact that we get to start branching out and doing that in our grade schools as well,
Really fun.
that's amazing.
Yeah. And we're showing kindness to others.
Absolutely, keeping it going.
Any questions?
Anybody
I'm all
else
done
wants to sign up for,
Yes, everybody, come
right,
Grinch.
volunteering? We had a
volunteers
lot
too.
of fun at the
If anyone's
Oktoberfest, so maybe,
December 7th.
We did.
maybe there's some
Starting at
pancakes
8 a.m.
involved. Okay,
So,
so just say, I'll bug you again via email, you know I will. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Okay, so next on our agenda is our recognition of our teachers earning tenure. So tenure is a status for teachers who are able to perform on a certain level and are dedicated to our district, and so we'd like to honor them this evening. And so we are gonna do so by building, and I do see some individuals in the audience. So if you are in the audience, obviously we do have a certificate for you this evening as well. And so we are going to make sure we pass that out as we go through. So, first up, Kelly Baxter. Joseph Gustin. Colleen McGovern. I see Kelly Smith. Thank you so much, Kelly. Congratulations.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Katie Rowe. Cami O'Shea.
It's all official now. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Congratulations,
Thanks for all you do
Cami.
for our
Thank you so
students.
much.
Thanks.
From Northwest, we have Judy Fetchko. Emily Arenas. Nadeem Cheyenne. Megan Beckelmeyer. Congratulations, Megan.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Then from Southeast, we have Tracy Ferguson. Diana Guzman. Congratulations, Diana.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
And then from Northeast, we have Carrie Katie Dickman. And we will make sure to distribute to all the teachers who are not able to attend tonight. So thank you so much for coming. And here's of course cupcakes.
Of course, there's cupcakes. That is a lot to be celebrated. So thank you very much and congratulations.
Okay, so next up on our agenda is Board of Education recognition. So our School Board Members Day is November 15th, which was this past Friday. And this is our opportunity to say thank you to our school board members for their dedication in a volunteer service. So of course, by tradition, it is definitely much more better said from students. And so we do have students here tonight to show their appreciation and demonstrate what they love about the school district. And because they can clearly say it much better than me.
Love it.
So we are gonna start with the South Schools. If Scott, you would like to introduce your individual first, that would be greatly appreciated.
So we have Rona McGuire, who's one of our outstanding fifth graders. Who's a great all-around kid and is a great example of what Southwest has to offer.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Love it. I know, right? Handsome.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rona McGuire, and I am currently a fifth grader at Southwest Elementary. Tonight I will be telling you about why I love my school. One thing I love about Southwest is that all of the teachers are very nice and helpful. For example, when a classmate of mine was struggling with their work yesterday, the teacher sat down with them individually and helped them with their work. The teachers even take a great interest in all the students, not just their own. Every day we are welcomed by teachers when they open the school doors to start the day. Each teacher trying to welcome each student by name. I think the teachers really like the school as well, because even when they retire, they come back to be substitutes.
It's true.
Our school really focuses on the positivity of student life. Bulldog bonuses are awarded for good choices and are a very big deal. Our school already earned over 18,000 in the first quarter. We have currently upped our goal to 22,000. I also participate in a student board called PBIS. PBIS is a group of 20 students nominated to help model group behavior and remind others to do the same. We get to work with the teachers to help pick rewarding and fun assemblies to celebrate the good choices we all make. Lastly, Southwest is a place for kids to speak up. I feel like the teachers hear us and change things to help us be our best. We are part of a wonderful school system. Southwest is the best.
Great job, thank you so much.
He had the jacket to go.
I
with.
know.
And it matches the shoes. Did you see it matches the shoes?
Oh, yeah, it does match the shoe.
You had such nice things to say. Thank you so much, and you did a great job. So, thanks for being here. Love it. Okay.
Okay, I'm excited to present from Southwest. I have Jade Perez with me today. She is one of our fifth graders and she's one of the leaders on student council.
Hi, my name is Jade Perez and I am a fifth grader at Southeast Elementary. The teachers there are amazing. They care about us and make learning fun and exciting. Our school is a place where everyone feels welcomed. I am currently a member of Student Council, the girls volleyball team, and have participated in multiple clubs. I have met my best friends throughout my years at Southeast, and I'm happy that others can experience this as well. In my school, we learn to respect each other and appreciate our differences. I am very proud of our school. It is a place where we can grow, meet lifelong friends, and learn new things every day. I am excited about all the great programs available at Southeast now and in the future. Thank you to the staff for making our school such a wonderful place.
Jade, what's your favorite club?
Probably chorus.
Very good. Maritza's proud of that in the background.
Yeah, like, of course, chorus. Thank you very much. Yes.
Great, and Miss
Excellent.
Berry from Northeast.
Hi, I have Harley DePose, fourth grade student. She's famous for being on the front cover of the Evergreen Park Library magazine.
Hey. Famous among us. I love it.
Hello, my name is Harley Dubus and I'm a fourth grader at Northeast Elementary School. Northeast is the best. We never miss a beat and always rock our role. Everyone is kind and caring. We support each other and celebrate each other's achievements together. We also have really great clubs. Some are for fun and others help us become better people, like the First Love Youth Club that teaches self-love. Even though we are in a learning environment, they make sure we enjoy and have fun. The teachers and staff at Northeast are kind, helpful, and positive. They are always there when you need them and are never lazy. Our school board cares about our students and shows that by making sure we have healthy meals available for our students who really need them. School District 124 always tries to keep us safe, make sure we get to celebrate as a community, and give students second chances while encouraging us to be the best people we can be. Thank you for listening.
I love how you worked Northeast theme into there.
I was like, ooh, Gary,
Yeah.
I hear you. Good job. Thank you so much.
I'm very excited to announce Jacqueline Blancas from Northwest. She's our student council president and fifth grader at our school, so she's gonna do a great job.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Blancas, and I go to Northwest Elementary School. District 124 is an amazing community, and I am so grateful to be a part of it. I have great teachers and many learning opportunities. This year, my teachers are Miss Larson, Miss Baldwin, and Miss Sopsack. My teachers make learning fun and engaging. For example, for book tasting, my teacher used a Starbucks theme. She used Starbucks because it was related to Starbucks. We got little lanyards that said we worked at Starbucks. The room was decorated and tables held genres of books for us to sample. Right now, we are taking a 40-book challenge and moving our gingerbread people around the Candyland as we read. There is always something new at Northwest. Also, I have many opportunities to participate in student life. I am in the student council, chorus, student ambassadors, drama club, and lunch helpers. I don't have a favorite because they are all very fun. Thank you members for making it all possible. It takes a lot of work, but we appreciate everything you do. Evergreen Park is an exciting place to grow and learn.
Thank you so much. And Central.
I am excited to introduce Bellamy Pippin. She's a 7th grader at CMS. She's very involved. She's a student leader. She's part of Singing Panther Choir. And now that I'm in front of everyone, I'm blanking on all the other things that you do, student leadership, and she could tell you more. And then she also brought Jershawn to also share. So we have 2 people who are going to share.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here.
I love the partnership, guys.
Oh, that's good.
I want to mention really quickly, all the other kids, I feel like they were very, very well spoken for their ages.
You jumped ahead because I was gonna say that when everybody was done. Oh my gosh, so composed and confident. Wonderful. Such a good job.
Starting off with a quote said by one of my teachers, Miss Dominich. She's a club that I'm in. She has a club that I'm in, multicultural club. She has said, "We have so many different cultures and backgrounds in the school, but even with this diverse group, we all come together." And I'm really glad that she had mentioned that, because after she had said that, I had realized I do have a whole bunch of different friends with different backgrounds, and I'm glad that our school allows us to come together and just be all friends together. When Dr. Muller asked if I'd like to speak at this board meeting, I was slightly nervous because I knew that I loved my school. I knew that there were so many great things about my school, but I didn't exactly think about what specific things that I liked. And my first thought was to ask the people of my school, because, well, they go to the school. And, the first thing that they said was that they liked this lunch.
That's good.
The pizza specifically. And thinking on that, well, food is very important. It keeps us nourished throughout the day, and a whole bunch of people can bond over that. So I'm glad that the school pays attention to those details. I also love the assemblies. I don't know if you've been informed on the Fun Olympics or not, but basically it's like you have to get your grades up and you have to pay attention in class and you have to keep yourself in check, I guess, to make sure that you're not doing anything inappropriate or something that you're not supposed to be doing. So the Fun Olympics keeps us where we're supposed to be in mind and heart and all things good while letting us do something fun for doing this stuff. So we get rewarded for our hard work. We also learn patience and good sportsmanship. Now, something else that is pretty great about this school is our staff. These teachers genuinely care about their students. Like, sometimes I found that, like, I was very confused in class, or maybe I really did not understand my work, so I was starting to feel overwhelmed. And always when I feel overwhelmed, there's a teacher there to help me. An example of this is my advisory/math teacher, Miss Dickey. I didn't understand the math, and I feel like I was gonna be like falling behind with my grades. So I sent her an email, and she emailed me back that she would not give up on me. And now anytime I look like I'm struggling, she'll come near me and ask if I need help, and she'll give me the help that I need.
Another teacher I would like to bring up is Miss Kelly. She's always there for her students while also hosting 2 clubs, student leadership and newspaper. While we're on the topic of clubs, Central offers many clubs such as newspaper, Creative Arts Club, Multicultural Club, choir, what else? Math leagues.
Yeah, there's a whole
It just goes on and on. So, with these clubs though, we get the opportunity to bond with each other from 6th to 8th grade. When you typically want to see each other probably through the school day, you get to meet each other after school and just like bond. So, also, our curriculum is awesome. So, we use this curriculum. Well, let me see. How do I put this? So, have you guys heard of Project Tree?
Yes.
So Project Tree is pretty much like it starts in 3rd grade. When you're in 3rd grade, if you're pretty good with your math, you get to go and do 4th grade math pretty much. By the time you get to 8th grade though, you get to do high school level math. And from 8th grade, the high school's also implemented high school ELA. So Central with the high school gives students the opportunity to get a little peek into the high school. So
Is it a good peak?
Dr. Thomas is a teacher at the high school, of course. He has a vested interest in both our middle school students and the high school. So. It's wonderful.
Great job, guys, thank you.
All right.
So I'm curious, from our Central students, are there any clubs that we don't have that you think we should consider?
Ooh, what would you like us to add?
I don't think they heard that.
Oh.
I don't think they heard that.
Okay, Dersh.
I was just thinking.
Well, you can think about it, and you can let Dr. Mueller and myself know if there's anything else you think we should consider for clubs, okay? All right, thank you so much.
I really do want to applaud our students. I know how hard it is to get up and speak to it sounds really scary, a Board of Education. I hope you now know that we're not scary at all. But I also, I loved what you had to say. And I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm so proud of our buildings and our teachers and our staff. So thank you for being here this evening. I really appreciate that. And there's cupcakes.
Yes.
There's always cupcakes, so just saying, there you go.
So of course, that was in honor of our school board members, and again, you guys do very deep work, but you all remember why you're here, and it's for our kids and our schools, and we really appreciate everything that you do. You should read your cup, I think it's really funny.
If you haven't read the definition.
I thought of Michael, I was like, he's gonna love this humor.
So our board member is a noun. It means one who solves problems you didn't know exist in ways you don't understand. See also superhero, legend, and rock star. I like rock star. That sounds pretty great. So that is, and it's filled with candy.
Look at that.
What could be better, right? So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, next up on our agenda is Mr. Jim Hennessy for our health life safety report.
And to our students, if this gets a little weighty or cumbersome,
Or boring.
I wasn't gonna say boring, Mr. Miller. I was just gonna say if it gets a little tedious, we will not be offended. If you need to go
Grab your cupcakes.
grab your cupcakes and go and do whatever it is that you are going to do with the rest of your evening. So I just wanna give you an out if you need it, and then we can proceed.
Thanks for that out.
I won't draw any attention. I love board meetings, but I know not everybody might, so, okay. I just wanted to give you that grace to, and thank you again, and grab those cupcakes. Okay, Mr. Hennessy, sorry about that. Okay. I wanna hear what you have to say, but
I always
might
seem
not.
to have to follow up after the kids, which
I
is
know, they do such a good
really
job.
fair.
That's okay. We like you too, Jim, so, and you get cupcakes too, so it's all good.
So October 30th was our annual health and life safety inspection. And when they showed up, they brought 2 new volunteers, which means they're going to be training them, which means they're going to be more thorough. We did awesome.
I couldn't.
They were more,
Every building, every
there
building.
went more rooms than they have in the past, and we did great.
Amazing.
The main things that they found were a couple too many extension cords here
I
and
saw
there.
that.
Saw the fish tank, I saw that.
Yes, yeah, I'm like,
a
okay,
fish
that
tank?
makes sense. It's gotta be
Fish tank's a
grounded.
fish tank.
Gotta be grounded, like,
A few violations that they found we were able to correct within the week.
I love
So
that.
the
Amazing.
report has been given back to South Cook and we got the all okay.
Nice.
I have 4 new staff this year that have never had to go through this before, like making sure their building is ready, and they jumped right in, wanted to learn what was
Love it.
approved, what wasn't approved, and they made sure that everything was great.
Obviously, right?
One
Great.
school had no violations, once again, Southeast with no violations.
Kathleen's doing a little happy dance.
For the second year in a row, so, but overall, when I first started, we had a few hiccups, but I think we're starting to rein everyone in. We get a lot of new staff each year, and I have to send out many reminders
No
of
more
what's allowed
extension
and what's
cords.
not.
Okay.
But I think people are actually starting to read those emails and
Excellent. That's what
pay
we want.
attention. So overall, we did great. I was very, very pleased when we got the report.
Awesome, thank you for that. I couldn't believe, every one of them, I was like, there's nothing to say on here. You did great.
No, I mean, like I said, half the stuff we were able to correct right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so,
Nice. Well done.
any questions?
It's good news.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for all you do. Absolutely. Mr. Grossi has a long shopping list of items on the agenda today. My
I'm
goodness.
personally a little stunned they find the tax levy boring, you know.
You didn't want the 5th graders to stick around for the tax talk? I don't understand. Yeah, it's okay.
Statement of expenditures, pretty consistent expenditures from last month, salaries and benefits being the main part, and then ramping up the construction. Revenues, not as many revenues, evidence-based funding plus some grant revenues. Reminder, we received all, what we expected tax-wise for the first 6 months of the school year already. So as a result, the fund balance went down again, but not to, that was expected, so it's not a shock or anything like that. So now I'm gonna present the tentative tax levy today. Today, I'll present the tentative tax levy, and then on our December 17th board meeting, I'll bring it again to the board to approve the tax levy, and then I need to go file it with the county clerk by December 31st. 24. This slide shows the history of the CPI, just a reminder of how up and down it is. The historical 10-year average is right around 2.5%. This year it's at 3.4%, and at this exact moment, looking towards next year, they're expecting for it to be back close to that 2.5 average that they've had historical. Breakdown of revenues. This shows our revenues from the budget for this current fiscal year. 71% of our revenues come from real estate taxes, so it just shows the importance of this levy. The recommended tax levy for this calendar tax year is for a total of $25,917,000, $19,170,000 in the ed fund, $1.6 million in the special ed fund, which is through the ed fund as well, $2.6 million in operations and maintenance fund, $1.5 million in the transportation fund, $200,000 in working cash, $400,000 in IMRF, and $600,000 in Social Security. And this year I did it a little differently than past years, where historically I've put the majority in the ed fund and made sure that we had positive fund balances. But the ed fund's pretty healthy right now, so I'm trying to spread it out a little bit more just to, you know, like transportation, for example, is going up, so I just wanna make sure that we have that all covered. So the recommended action for the next board meeting will be to adopt a tax levy that will capture the 3.4% growth in the district's limiting fund above its prior year maximum allowable extension. And something I'll talk about in this shortly is that we also received the property tax relief grant again, which is very exciting. And to apply for that grant, which will generate 1.8 million in tax abatements beginning in the next levy year.
Amazing. So we will be adding our expected 3.4, but we will be able to abate.
Yes, yes, which is awesome news.
That's amazing.
So for everybody listening at home.
Yes,
you know,
that's a big deal, guys. That's a really big deal.
That's like a coupon from the state of Illinois for all of us, right? So like we're all
Yes.
concerned about our property taxes, and so this is $1.8 million that's not gonna come out of our property taxes. The
Correct.
state of Illinois is gonna grant that, so it's a nice little windfall for us.
Yeah.
That's a good coupon.
It's
That's a really, that's the best.
Illinois doesn't
yeah.
issue many,
That's
so.
a golden ticket.
Yeah,
That's
for
that's a big deal.
abating roughly $1.8 million each year, so $3.6 million over 2 years, we'll receive roughly $1.5 million on our base for evidence-based funding just annually for forever.
Oh, that's
So
good.
it's a good trade-off, and it's great, it's a win-win for everybody, it's great for the community.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
And then this last slide is a new law, it's a public act, a couple months ago it was actually brought up. So you have to present at one point in the school year at a board meeting to show your fund balance against your average expenses over a 3-year period for the operating fund, which is the ed fund, the operations and maintenance fund, and transportation fund. And our percentage is at 34.6%. And so what this new law is if the percentage is at 250%, then the state's gonna make you do a reduction plan, just to show that you're spending your money that you have, just because there's been a lot of fund balances in the state for schools last year, so this is a new law. I'm very curious to see what school districts have 250%.
Actually have, that's, oh my gosh.
Great situation to be in, for sure.
It would be wonderful, right? But how are they not spending money on their students and staff would be like, how?
Yeah, so we're safe at this moment.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm just jealous, that's all.
I am too.
You know, just jealous. That would be great.
Any questions on the tax levy presentation?
So this was, you needed to, the law was that you had to present it to us at a board meeting and prove that it wasn't 250%.
Yeah, and it just makes sense.
So you have
to
now
do it now.
obeyed the law, excellent. Okay. This is a new one, so that was, okay, I got you.
I think a lot of business managers putting it in their levies or reports just because it kind of aligns, so.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
And then previously discussed, we are eligible to receive the property tax relief grant, which is very exciting. This is the second time that the district has been given this opportunity.
Mhm.
And in order to receive this grant, we'll have to abate taxes for the next 2 calendar years in the amount of $1,842,922 per year. And in return, we'll get an additional $1,567,479 added to our evidence-based funding revenue annually.
Yes,
Very
right?
exciting.
That's a big deal. That is a really big deal.
It's a big deal.
And
we will keep applying every year that we're able to apply.
on the EP podcast, not the one that you were all on, when Senator Bill Cunningham came on and explained that only districts that are really good get that. And now here we have it, like, again, well-managed, responsible, fiscally, you know, forward-thinking. So it's really great that
It's very exciting. It was, when the spreadsheet came out, I was very happy.
So maybe Eric was doing a happy dance,
He
Kathleen was
was.
just doing a
He
happy.
definitely was,
Oh my
guys.
gosh, worth it, absolutely. Great, my gosh.
Later on, there will be a resolution to authorize intervention in proceedings before the State of Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board.
Yes.
Essentially, that's just to reuse Franzek for 3 more years,
Right.
which is just a consistent practice that we've been using.
It's big words that we continue on with what we're doing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a long sentence. And then we do have a PTAB that I'm bringing to you guys today to approve later. It's for the BMO Harris Bank. They appealed their 2020 and 21 taxes, and they're seeking $23,154 in total refunds from District 124, and they're seeking $17,824 from District 231. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys, your attention today.
Appreciate that.
If there's any fundraising organizations in the room, a good sponsor to seek out this year might be BMO Harris.
That is true. And as Mr. Miller pointed out, for those at home, we have the PTAB amounts budgeted every year.
Yes.
So we know that happens, and so we have that budgeted, so it's not suddenly we owe another $20,000 for something, it's, yeah, we have that.
Yeah, it's not like they
Plan.
send us a physical bill for
It'd
it.
be great if we didn't have to.
It comes out of our
Yes.
taxes.
Revenue stream.
Yes, exactly. So, and again, we account for that, it's not news, I mean, it's news, but it's not,
Right.
a problem.
Working cash fund bond updates. So on November 7th, we had a district rating due diligence call where we just explained the community, our finances, the schools, and we had people listen. And then yesterday, we received our bond rating, which goes along with, our hearing, which is gonna be coming up in December. And then today, I'm bringing to you guys the board to adopt the parameters resolution, which is a result of just the work we've pretty much been doing.
Yep, that's an action item.
Yes, for later.
On our consent agenda. And that's also really good news.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The taking on this bond, I wanted to draw attention to the fact that we are finishing some debt service before we take on more debt service.
Yes.
So again, it shouldn't have an impact on our taxpayers, knowing how we're trying to be more responsible and responsive. It's not going to increase, at least not at this, that's not gonna increase noticeably for our taxpayers. So this bond is, it's kind of like a home equity line of credit when we need a bigger pocket, right?
Right.
For some projects, so it's what districts do to fund those projects.
And then we had one FOIA from Prairie Farms, and that has been completed.
Is that the milk
Milk
place?
company?
I didn't wanna say it, yeah, the milk.
Okay. All right.
That's on some market research.
I know, I guess, like who drinks milk? Okay, let's check that out.
Anyone have any questions?
So we are taking action later on the tax levy hearing date and time, the tentative tax levy, the PTAB, Franzik being with us again, and then the bond. And the tax appeal, okay, all right. That's a lot, I told you, you had a lot,
I know.
7.
Eric had a lot.
7 agenda items, that's a lot. So,
Thank you.
thanks, Eric. Hello.
Glad I didn't have to follow the kids, I'd rather follow. So being November, we have just recently gotten our summative designations, which the state puts out annually. It is multiple measures that are used to classify all of the school districts and provide them with that designation. So recognizing that schools are more than just one test. There are lots of things that go into the success of schools. And so these multiple measures are used for that purpose. They are developed in collaboration with stakeholders throughout the state, and they're designed to identify schools for supports and for improvements in areas that are needed. So this includes schools with student groups needing supports in otherwise high-performing schools. You might have a school that is doing wonderfully in a lot of areas, but maybe has one student group that isn't performing where you would like them to be. That school needs support for that student group. So it really identifies them in that way. These are the measures that are used for the K-8 band. You see ELA and math proficiency at 7.5%, ELP progress to proficiency, that is what that means. So our EL students who come to us, they we want to help them to become proficient in the English language over a course of years. So that is their progress to proficiency measurement. Chronic absenteeism is what that should say, that's 20%. The climate survey, which is our 5 essentials survey, is also worth 5% of our total score. Science is 5%, and then ELA and math growth also in there at 25%. So all of those things, you can see that really the focus in on that growth percentage, making sure that all of your students are growing, not just your students who are struggling, but also your proficient students and your exceeding students. We need to make sure that we're growing all students. So all of those indicators then come up to 100 points. So really what you're looking at is how much of that 100 points are you able to get out of all of those areas. And it is broken down into student demographics. So you will see tonight they're going to present on their all student group, and then also any student groups that they have within those buildings. In order to have a student group, you have to have 20 or more students that you would have scores for. So there are some where you might say, well, why don't you have maybe an EL student group at one of our buildings? Well, they would not have 20 students at that grade level. That would count towards that student group size. So is that my last slide? Our schools are, Our summative designations, these are the designations that you could get. Exemplary would be schools performing in the top 10% with no underperforming student groups. So you might have, again, a school that maybe their all student group is in the top 10%, but they might have maybe children with disabilities, or their EL students might not be performing at that level. They cannot be exemplary then. Commendable are schools that have no underperforming student groups, but who are not in the top 10%. And then you would be underperforming if you have one or more student groups in that level. So if you remember a couple of years ago, Central was an underperforming because we did have our EL students that were identified as that student group. So I encourage you to take a look at their scores tonight when you see them. We're pretty excited about it. And then lowest performing would be students, schools that are in the lowest 5%. So I'm really excited. I think that we have put a lot on our teachers the last few years with curriculum changes and different expectations and things like that. And they have definitely risen to the challenge, and we've seen some really great growth in a lot of areas. So the schools are gonna present their scores. Northeast is up first.
You're gonna see the data, Denise.
Thank you.
That's good.
The moment we've all been waiting for, right?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I want to there's a lot, as we all know, a lot of hard work that goes into this and behind the scenes, and you can't really capture all of the strengths and all of the goals that we have. I do want to thank my staff, first off, for just showing up every day. We, of course, are going to be talking about, the academic component, but there's still the social emotional, that we balance. And we know that that has to come first and is our main priority, because we can't get to this place without addressing the social emotional concerns and struggles that our students have. So I commend them because we're doing that. We have our therapy hats on and our doctor hats on and our mother hats and our father hats. So I really commend them for a job well done, as well as the support that we have from admin, from you, from my colleagues. It's this whole, everyone, it's a team effort. So I do wanna highlight, if you just look briefly at our 2023 to 2024 score, I'm super happy with the growth that we've made in all of our subgroup areas. I think that, again, we still have work to do, but happy that we're trending in the right area, or the right direction. Couple big strengths, our chronic absenteeism dropped from 26.69 last year to 14.77.
Holy cow.
I do want to commend Meg Franco, who has done a lot of work.
I see you.
It is a lot of work. Dr. Bannock and I started this journey when I was an AP at Northwest, and so he's like, I'm gonna put this on your plate, and then COVID hit, so then absent,
was absent.
yeah, everyone was absent, no one was present,
Yes.
so And then we were recovering from COVID, and so when Meg came, I'm like, Meg, first challenge I'm giving you is this one. But she's done an incredible job. We've done little things last year to start implementing, but we have a school attendance and tardy policy that we run. I know all the schools use it. I know she collaborates with Kathleen as well, working behind the scenes, but super proud of this. But because we work best under systems, so we now have a tiered system and holding parents accountable, but also offering them resources and support if they need it in these areas. So super proud of that. We showed an increase in our ELA growth, REL calculation, from 55.42 overall to 59.56. And then our growth for math was slight, so this is kind of what we're targeting right now, but 51.04 to 51.78. So again, still have some work to do there, and that's really what we're going to be talking about in our next building-led PBs. But so one thing that I just want to reiterate is that we are continuing to incentivize and research chronic absenteeism and putting those things in place for our students. So we have a program. It's all about following up and being consistent, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we're also looking at some more personalized learning, and this may come in the package of differentiation or maybe some different scheduling, individualized skill groups that we're offering now after school for our first graders and our second graders, especially in the areas of ELA phonics and then math numeracy. So we have created this new program this year where before we'd offer homework help for students, but now we're going to do a skills-based kind of tutoring service for them. The other thing is we looked a little bit different at some at our data. We prioritize second grade in the area of reading also, and they're doing skills-based groups, and they tiered those. And the teachers, they're actually switching classes a little bit and differentiating homework and just processes. So we're super excited about that. Again, always working to provide and concentrate on school culture, that we're inclusive and supportive. We embrace diversity, not just within the months of those big months, but every day, all day. That comes within our classrooms, within the books that we're sharing with our students, within our morning announcements, just making them feel, and you heard it tonight from the students. Yeah, we gotta rock our roll and feel valued and encouraged to succeed. And then, just one more thing that we're continuing to do, just this Workout Wednesday schedule that I have, this grade level PE time, it just provides kind of a 6-week swing schedule, we call it. So once every 6 weeks, teachers are meeting and talking about academic data. Then once every 6 weeks, they're talking about behavior data, then special ed articulation, and then individual teacher meetings that Meg and I have with the teachers. We sit down and talk about tier 1, and then they have time for grade level collaboration. So I think that designated time is helping in the area of our growth, so.
Touching on each of those areas every 6 weeks.
Consistently.
Yeah.
So that's it. Any questions? That's a lot. I know, I'm tired, but it's good.
But
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Good job.
Oh my God. Hello.
I'm going to be sharing with you information about Southeast. So we just like to start by saying that we're incredibly proud of our staff and our students for their hard work and dedication to teaching and learning. As you may notice on the screen, we have a lot of different student groups at Southeast, and our teachers work diligently to meet each student group where they are at and to support their growth moving forward. So as a school, we had strong growth in our overall score, increasing from 63 points in 2023 to over 66 points this year. Notably, our Hispanic and Latino subgroup continued showing strong growth, improving by over 22 points in the last 3 years. And if you remember to last year, this was one of our focus areas, so we're proud to see the growth that we've achieved so far, and we'll continue supporting their growth. We also showed an increase in our math growth scores from 44 points last year to over 59 points this year. And some of that comes from the work that we've been doing. So we had an adjusted pacing guide to ensure that we covered as much material as possible before they took the IAR test. We've had data meetings to look at both benchmark data and to look at IAR data, just to make sure that our instruction is matching what we're assessing our students on. And we really utilize our instructional coach to support teachers and then also to do some co-teaching to make sure that our curriculum is being implemented well. Our chronic absenteeism rate has decreased. We were at 23% in 2023, down to 16% of students counted as chronically absent. And so some of that comes from the work we've been doing with communicating and partnering with families. And then we've also added in some additional incentives for students. So raffle prizes, ribbons, like a traveling trophy between the classrooms, just to kind of bring some awareness and focus on this issue. And then our EL progress to proficiency scores have increased by over 10 points from last year to this year, from 67 points to over 77 points. So things that we're going to keep focusing on, we're working to meet the needs of our diverse learners with a focus on math lesson planning and implementation. We're working with both Math for All and Dr. Jen Dale to support some intensive cycles of like lesson planning, instruction, and then reflection on those lessons. We're also focused on our ELA growth scores. So we're in the second year of implementing CKLA as our new curriculum. So we've adjusted some pacing guides, kind of similar to how we did with math. Like after we've taught it 1 year, we know kind of what we can move faster through, what things we need to focus on. And as a district, we have a focus on ELA, like common assessments, both through our curriculum and then with a focus on writing. And then we also just have a continued focus on increasing attendance, because when our students are there, then they're able to access our strong instruction. So we're really proud of the hard work of all of our staff and our students, and are just really grateful for the community we have with our families, staff, and students at Southeast. Are there any questions on that? I guess these are just the graphs that show the bottom right corner. I just want to point out our math growth. So the yellow is this year, and we have had a really strong focus on math. So it's just great to see all of the hard work that everyone's putting in is really paying off.
So was this the first year that Southeast's EL population was large enough to be measured? Is that what I'm
Yes,
getting?
and it's in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And that's where you see, like last year, we had children with disabilities, just because we have slight fluctuation every year in that 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade group. So yes, that's why like they were on last year, and now EL is on, and the children with disabilities not included. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Dr. Bannock?
So just to reiterate, like, thank you to my staff, they did a great job and we had some great growth and they've done a lot of work to do that. So I just want to start off by thanking them and all the work that they've done over the past few years in terms of moving forward with the students. So we, as you can see from our designation scores, we did have a lot of great growth. So overall going from 59 to 78, so that was a great increase from 2023 to 2024. Some notable things to look at, our chronic absenteeism rate dropped from 20.4 to 12, which was great. Once again, thanks to Meg Franco and the work that she's doing with that as well too. Also, one thing that I'm really proud of is our gaps between our low-income students and other students decreased. So in 2018, we started off the gap between like all students and students in low income was, there's an 18-point gap in reading, a 20-point gap in math. So that decreased to 8 in reading and 5 in math in 2024. So it's a tremendous growth and closing the achievement gap. Other areas of growth that we're looking to continue as we move forward is obviously continue to improve attendance rates. So we're still working on that. It's a never-ending saga. Also focusing on math lesson planning. So similar to Southeast, we're also in the Math for All. So using that as a way to hone lesson plans to make sure that we're reaching all students. And we're also just making sure that with the pacing guides and things from the district, working on that with the teachers to make sure if there's any gaps or anything we need to fill to make our students more successful. And then one of our lower scores was in writing. And so we're looking at the district this year is creating writing rubrics. So just helping teachers put those in place and looking at opportunities for students to increase the amount of writing they do within the various subjects. So, and then these are just some of our scores.
So for 2020, I see the Black or African American Are they included now into 2022, the Black African American, are they included in the low income? Cause I didn't see, or wasn't enough in that group?
So there wasn't, in 2022, there wasn't enough in that subgroup, so once again, it goes back to that 20. And so then in 2023 and 2024, we didn't have enough to report that data.
Got it now, got it.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Dr. Bailey. Southwest.
So I am super excited to be standing here before you to talk a little bit about this. It's been an exciting couple of weeks when the numbers came out. Definitely had a feeling and have been flirting on this. It goes up and down, but had a good feeling when we left after talking to teachers and just their response on how seriously the kids took the test and how much effort they saw. And so we did come out as exemplary this year, and that is a testament again to the hard work. Of our teachers, every point matters, and you've heard some of the things that have been talked about by the staff, those chronic absenteeism pieces, which account for 20% of your school report card. So we were at 6.6% chronic absenteeism, which puts us back at pre-pandemic levels. We're actually below pre-pandemic levels. 2018, they started this, and we were falling between 7 and 9% chronically absent. So to be at 6.6 last year was really helpful for this. And that is kudos to Kathleen, and Jackie is here also, and she is on the phone in the morning after our teachers take attendance. And sometimes that makes the difference between a kid getting there and not getting there. So it's a total team effort. I'm trying to communicate that with parents through our Kinvo report card system with Dan Lee, and just really seeing the total picture for how important it is to be in school. I wanted to talk a little bit about SGP because that's where the majority of points are available to you and make a big difference. So for example, for us, because we don't have an EL population, that 5% gets folded into our growth metric, which means that 53% of our school report card comes from growth. So if you were to get all of your growth points, you would be almost 70% of the way there to exemplary. So 53 out of 84. So you have to have those numbers in order to receive that designation. So the way they calculate SGP scores is similar to our STAR scores, and so what they're looking at is similar students and how quickly or efficiently they are growing compared to their peers. So they take same grade level, same subject students who scored the same on their previous assessment. So you take a 5th grade student who scored a 790 on their 4th grade IAR math assessment. And they take all of the students across the state that scored a 790 on their math assessment, and they line them up next to each other. Let's say there's 100 kids, and they say, go start the school year. And then the next year they take that test and they see the score, and you get a ranking from 1 to 100. That's your SGP score. It's not how well you grew compared to everybody, it's how well you grew compared to the kids who scored the same as you, same subject, same grade. So it's really important whether you're already proficient and meeting state standards, or you are exceeding state standards, you still have to grow, and they're gonna compare you to the other kids who grew and exceeded. And that's really important, because we look at, just because a student got a 5 on IAR doesn't mean that they had a high growth score. So it's something that we have to pay attention to. And so then they take the mean of those SGP, or the mean of each student's SGP, and average them, and that's where you get that growth score. So just looking and sitting in the back at all of the other schools and those numbers that are above 50%, right, in almost every single subject and every single school in our district across the elementary level means that our kids are growing faster than kids in other elementary school districts, and that's awesome. That is a district-wide thing right there. And so that is how that's what pushed us over the edge this year, and what we'll continue to focus on is making sure that we're touching all of our students, whether they're in bucket 1 or bucket 5, in terms of their performance. The other thing that I think is just important to note is the proficiency data targets continue to change in our state, right? So just because we have received 100% of our proficiency points, the expectation for all schools will go up each year until we hit the year 2033, where the expectation is 90%. So it's really important that we keep moving kids from bucket 1 to bucket 2 to bucket 3, all the way up to bucket 4, which is those meet level of performance. Because those are changing, and if we stay where we're at, right, we're not gonna continue to get 100% of the points a couple of years from now. It's really important to think about. So we'll continue to monitor those various performance levels in the effort that if we know that if we move kids from level 1 to all the way up to exceeds, that will result in growth. Paying attention to the standards aligned instruction and assessments. We spent a ton of time as a district collaborating and making sure that our kids are getting the sufficient at-bats of challenging enough work to make sure that when it does come time to sit for the assessment, that they're prepared. And that is connected, I think, to our the curricular resources that we now have in the district. The kids are engaged, they're challenging, and it's really pushing them to grow and be better. And so we've talked as a building leadership team just to think about what are the things that we're doing, because we're doing a lot of things well, and how do we do what we're doing well a little better? Just continuing to make those little tweaks, because we may have gotten this designation this year, but there's no guarantee that it's going to happen again next year. We have to continue to grow and continue to work towards that. So these are some of the charts. Obviously, those ELA growth and math growth scores are huge. Mrs. O'Shea, who's responsible for our 5th grade ELA here, has the highest SGP out of all the subject and grade level areas. So I don't know if she knows that or not, but she did. So, and then you'll see that chronic absenteeism number get as close to 100 as possible. We're really shooting to get everybody there because we know that's important as well.
Look at the stair steps. Like each year you guys are hitting that number and then you're just trying to improve on it. That's just very impressive.
For sure, yep. And we saw definitely with our math, now that the kids are gonna live in Eureka starting in kindergarten, we're seeing, as you work down the line, the level of proficiency continue to increase. Our 4th graders were a little higher than our 5th graders, our 3rd graders were a little higher than our 4th graders because they've been exposed to that same program. They're speaking the same rigorous language and having those conversations about math, so.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Dr. Muller.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So for the 24 school year, CMS is commendable, which we're very proud of. We will, as Dr. Carlson shared at the beginning, remain in school improvement status for a full 4-year cycle, as we did receive a targeted designation in the 2022 school year for the English learners subgroup. But we do have a lot to celebrate tonight, so I'll share a little bit of our strengths and our areas of growth and our action plan, and then when we go to the other side with the graphs, I'll share some other highlights that I want to note. So overall, our summative score for all student groups saw growth. So we had 59.72 points last year, and now we have 64.55. And overall, the 2 celebrations I really want to point out is the significant overall growth with our former EL students. They had growth from 60.92 to 78.46, almost a 20-point growth, which is great. And then also there was some significant overall growth with our, although there might be a typo on there, maybe there's a typo on my notes. With our low income students from 56.63 to 65.64, which is great. And then math growth is really the celebration tonight. We saw significant math growth. All student groups grew from 37.33 to 53.36, which is almost 16 points, which is great. And then we had some major highlights with some of our subgroups. Our children with disabilities went from 38.87 to 49.21. Our Black and African American students had growth from 38.54 to 49.09. We also saw significant overall growth in math for our former EL students, with growth from 36.38 to 72.26, almost 36 points. And then also in math, significant overall growth with our limited English proficient students, with growth from 27.08 to 50. So again, 22 points. And then we also saw growth in all student groups for our attendance. So last year we got 59.64 of the points, and this year we got 68.19. So 10 points growth, which is great. Our main areas of growth are related to ELA growth. Last year was year one in Springboard implementation, so we do expect to see a year one implementation dip. So we are gonna continue to work on reading growth through intentional planning, our common assessment analysis, and just again, a focus on our high quality tier one instruction. And then there's also a huge area of growth that we need to focus on with our children with disabilities, specifically in math and ELA proficiency and attendance. So we're going to target and address our students with disabilities through the following. So Math for All, CMS is one of the schools participating in Math for All. So we're gonna continue to engage with that, and that should have a huge positive impact on all of our students, but especially our students with IEPs, since it focuses a lot on differentiation. And then we're gonna continue to intentionally plan. So Megan Locke and I are gonna continue to work with our students in our co-taught classes to just make sure that they're receiving access to grade level content within those classes and ensuring that they get any additional support they need. And then through Becky's group, the Academic Bridge Subcommittee group will also continue to work on academic proficiency and growth at the district level. So to make sure students with disabilities, K-8, have access to grade level content and are growing. And then also attendance. So the deans and our associate principal will target attendance interventions specifically for students with disabilities. And then just some more highlights on this screen. So for our overall summative score, we did see, again, significant overall growth with our limited English proficient students, and they had growth from 38.62 to 55.28, so that's almost 16 points. And like I shared earlier, our low-income students also had growth about 10 points, so from 56 to 65. And then for math, there was again significant overall growth with our Hispanic and Latino students. They had growth from 34.24 to 63.74, so that's almost 30 points of growth as well. And then for attendance, we did see significant overall growth in attendance with our limited English proficient students. Last year we got 38.72 points, and this year we got 60. So that's pretty good. Increased by 22. And then there was also, for attendance, significant overall growth with our students that identify as 2 or more races, from 53.85 to 83.33, so almost 30-point difference too. So there's a lot to celebrate. And then I am confident that our continued work through intentional planning and just our focus on high quality tier 1 instructional practices, we will continue to make learning gains. Any questions?
Do you mind if I just say this?
No, please.
I just wanted to give a shout out to like all the staff, of course, and I in my tenure on the board, one of the very first things I remember Dr. Woodland and Dr. Carlson wanting to tackle was this idea of like curriculum vertical integration. And that's a really fancy way of saying like making sure they're like what they're learning in kindergarten is adaptable and talks to them the whole way through 8th grade. And I just feel like what we saw tonight was like proof of concept right there. And so just like massive round of applause to everybody.
Thank you so much. And my principal team is rock solid, so thank you so much for everything you do. And Dr. Carlson definitely needs a call out on this, the amount of work. I vividly remember my listening tours, my first year, and the teacher saying we need to look at curriculum, and I'm like, yeah, we do. And so that's what we did, and it's been a great journey, but I really appreciate the teachers being willing to jump in and take the heavy weight, because that's what they do every day. So thank you so much. Job well done, guys.
Yes, thank you. Awesome.
Can we do something for our schools that just like kicked all this butt? Like as a board, is there like a
Of course we can.
reward or like a morale push or something that would be valuable?
Of course we can.
Can our principals give us some ideas like in the next couple of days to make this a timely celebration?
Of course we can.
I love it, that's brilliant.
Great idea.
I'm excited to follow after those presentations and kind of piggyback on the sentiment that working with this admin team is amazing, and even district office and Ashley, and a lot of that work we do on our specific committees and how everything blends together, not just for, you know, students with disabilities, but for all of our students. So as I talk about these, you know, some of the updates in my committee, we'll kind of talk about that job embedded PD that Jen and Ashley are so gung-ho on, that I really feel like has made a huge difference within the district. So special education committee update, I'm not gonna read it because I feel like every time I give an update, but I do put the purpose and the vision of our committee. We have kicked off the whole committee twice. Our first kickoff was in September, and then we met in person as a whole group in October. And then our subcommittees, most of them have met already in November, December, and then we'll be back together as a whole group in January. We have 8 new members. We had a couple resignations last year as a district, and we had to recruit new members. So really took that opportunity to kind of diversify our group. We had a dean join our group. We had another EL teacher join our group, 2 gen ed teachers, which we really were kind of looking for those gen ed teachers to join. I'll talk a little bit about our least restrictive, our LRE subcommittee, really focusing on pre-K. So wanted to recruit some of our pre-K, so added a pre-K or early childhood teacher and then 2 pre-K paraprofessionals. So total 8 new members, which we're very excited about. So I'll give you a little bit of updates. So our academic bridge, which Jenna Moeller kind of referenced as well. So their goals are continuing to focus on increasing student achievement as measured by the MClass, which is our K-1 district assessment, and our STAR reading and math for all K through 8 students. So we've been doing a lot of professional development. So math for all we're doing at specific schools. They've been focusing on PD for co-teaching at CMS, and then specifically designed instruction and diverse learners, specifically designed for K through 2, specifically designed instruction for 3 through 5, and then middle school. Similar goals in regards to that, just kind of gen ed, special ed. It's specifically designed instruction is just an approach to teaching that meets the needs of, you know, our diverse learners. And again, I feel like this PD and this support is not only for our special education teachers, but also for our gen ed teachers, because we just have so many diverse learners. It has 3 core elements: content, methodology, and delivery. So I really feel like that has been huge and beneficial, providing that for all of our teachers, and then doing some more deep diving into, you know, accommodations versus modifications. I think that, you know, what I've said to our teachers for so long is we're so used to the same accommodation or the same modification for students, but we need to be creative, we need to think out of the box, there's so much out there. Explicitly teaching, so we're really trying to teach specifically our middle school students to advocate more for themselves and what they need. So really explicitly teaching them how to use their accommodations or ask for those accommodations, track those accommodations, and then show them how that can make a difference in how they do educationally. And then consultation time, so a little bit of what Jenna said, and I think we're doing this at CMS specifically, but we're doing this across the district, really trying to support and find times to support our general education teachers with planning instructions for students, for our students that require, that have disabilities, so they can access the curriculum, access their accommodations, access their modifications. So that may look like more problem solving meetings, just some standing times within different buildings for our staff to be over there and kind of problem solve through some of those questions. Again, making sure all our kids have access to grade level curriculum and that they can be successful. So our behavior subcommittee, our behavior subcommittee is really, the goal is aligning to all of our students with individual behavior plans. All of them currently have goals that address their skill deficits that would require them to have the behavior intervention plans. So we are looking for those students to continue making progress towards those goals through monthly, quarterly goal updates, progress monitoring. Again, a lot of PD that we're providing. We know that we have different students that are coming in with different needs across the district. We've provided a lot of behavior management training to our new teachers always, but we're also providing that to some of our second, third, and even beyond year teachers. Crisis de-escalation training, trauma-informed training, and then some other goals that they have are targeted behaviors. You know, lots of teachers love, like, you can't even make up all the scenarios in regards to behaviors that you see in the classroom, but there's some behaviors that you will see across the district. So kind of running through some of those target scenarios and how we would respond to those, how the BCBA or behavior intervention would respond to those. Videoing those responses so she could model and coach. We're gonna continue our neurodiversity week with our student, that was a huge hit last year, with our student lessons. We are talking about how we can streamline some data collection procedures at like the tier 2 and tier 3 level for students struggling with behaviors, wanting to make sure that we intervene early enough. And then create additional parent communication regarding PBS practices. So these are some of the goals and tasks that this subcommittee would like to do throughout the year. Some have been done already, some are still a work in progress. And then the LRE committee, the least restrictive environment. So our goal is to increase the number of early childhood students receiving services within the general education. So typically in our pre-K classrooms, students receive academic and maybe some social emotional support. But we're really looking to relook at all of our early childhood program, talk about inclusion, what is our program philosophy now, establish some new systems and supports, revise the program and standards, and then providing like ongoing professional development to support high quality preschool programs. So we've done a little bit like out in the community looking at other local preschool programs, talking about how they embed their service providers into those classrooms to make those students successful. So those are some of the goals in regards to that subcommittee. And then our high quality IEP committee. So they're continuing to progress, to monitor and do the audits, random audits on our IEPs quarterly. So we are focusing on increasing from progressing to mastery and our specific IEP goal statements and our present levels of functioning. So one of the things that we noticed last year, we have a lot of the procedural things in our IEPs, but we need to make sure that our IEP goals and present levels are aligned. They're aligned to grade level standards. Their benchmarks make sense. They're developmentally appropriate. So that's what they're gonna focus on this year. When we talk about PD opportunities, we're looking for more PD opportunities specifically for special education teachers on how to use their specific data to write those goal statements and those present levels of functioning. Send to staff. Oh, I'm like, so one of the things that we talk about all the time is there's not enough time, there's not enough collaboration, especially when you're doing your IEPs. A lot of times, you know, teachers are obviously busy in the day teaching, their plan time is used for plan, you know, we're trying to talk about how they can like spread that out and maybe, you know, work on bits and pieces of the IEP over time and not just crunch time. So one of the things we're talking about is just making sure that we're sharing those resources with teachers as much as we can finding opportunities if we have a great PD to block out that time, whether it's during a PLC or a teacher institute, to watch that PD on, or, you know, go over that PD with staff, but also giving them those, PD so they can watch on their own if they'd like. Continue to promote Goalbook, that's a resource that we bought last year, that and highlight the new and updated features. One of the things that they really focused on last year because of feedback was like speech and language goals and aligning those to standards and things like that. So they're always updating and always have like really short PDs and resources. So a lot of SEL resources they've had now too, like rubrics and things like that, which is something we're always looking for. And then, so we'll continue to audit the IEPs quarterly. We do like to put out the staff surveys to our special education teachers to see what they're interested in getting more of. And then collecting our Goalbook analytics. So last year, when we looked at our Goalbook analytics, they were like through the roof. I mean, people were really utilizing that, so it was exciting. I mean, you could dive down a rabbit hole and spend a whole day, but like, again, like sometimes you just need the time to do that. So making sure we're finding those times, like bringing their data, so then they use that hour of the PD we're providing to kind of go down the rabbit hole and Goalbook for specific students. So those are our updates. That's it. End of presentation.
Thank you very much. Wow, that was a lot too. No moss grows. Everybody's making things happen, keeping it moving.
Keep it moving.
I know, I love it. Thank you very much. On to our public comment portion of the evening. I didn't read it last month because I wasn't here. So there you go.
I could read it.
I know, I heard. I was watching from home,
Give me a
just so you
bridge
know. I was flat in my bed, but I was watching from home. So, again, we're up to the public comments. And per Board of Education Policy 2230, a few reminders specifically about the logistics for the public comment portion of every meeting, including this evening. As is posted on our agenda publicly for every meeting, to respect all of our stakeholders, our commenters, our board, our public, we adhere very closely to the 3-minute limit for comments for everyone. We will set a timer and we expect everyone to respect their 3 minutes. In addition, we don't respond to public comments at board meetings, but we do hear them, we respect, we listen to, and take into account all community member concerns, and if there's specific questions we can answer, we will do so in a timely manner. All of that being said, do we have any public comments this evening? Thank you very much. Okay. I still have to say it though, right? I still have to go on record to say it, so thank you for entertaining me. And next, our board reports. Ms. Jones, do we have an Arrow governing board meeting summary?
Yes, a very
Excellent.
interesting meeting.
Okay. All right, tell us more.
Well, some good news is they are in the final stages of installing every vehicle with inside cameras.
Yes, and I
Excellent.
believe I got a message from Bill Rosland that they were being installed as of last week and this week.
Yeah, it's finished. So all 36 vehicles will
Oh
have
my gosh.
a camera inside,
Excellent.
front view as well as back.
And he sent me photo proof.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
And so that was
Hear
good news.
I just said, happy to hear that.
Yeah,
And
that's
so let the board know
Yes.
that they're almost finished. I'm like, okay, they'll be happy to hear that. And so we also spoke about an incident that happened in the cafeteria. There, they had a plumbing issue where the drain was backed up and they had to call out a plumbing company to fix the drain. Well, the plumbing company put some acid in the drain,
Don't like
put
where
a
this is
lid
going.
on it.
Yeah, right.
Put a lid on it and
Oh.
caused the explosion in the cafeteria area, the kitchen, and it's bad. Wow. So they are, don't really know what happened, but like
I
everything,
just saw David's face.
like this brand new state-of-the-art kitchen, cafeteria.
Kitchen too.
Yeah, really good kitchen. like everything.
But they're fixing it.
But how that, yeah, but,
still.
yeah, but,
Yeah, but.
however, yet, whatever, they have to excavate the
Oh, no.
plumbing.
Oh, gosh.
And dig down and pull up the pipe.
Because there was cement.
Because there may be some compound, in there that
Shouldn't have been there.
shouldn't have been there, and they don't know how far, how long, how much.
Oh, no.
But they said that, the co-op will not have to pay for it, so.
I wrote that down.
So I was
So that was the flooring
So it
too,
was
the
so they
flooring we
have
did
to
not have to
dig,
pay.
they have to pull up,
Wow.
like, it's bad.
So is the like cafeteria out of commission then? for
It's
the
out of
time being?
commission.
Okay.
And,
Oh.
but they have the second floor cafeteria.
Oh, yeah, the
that
cafeteria.
But
they-
they can still
right,
serve
that's
food
right.
out
So
there.
they're still serving food, so. Not hot meals, but they're still serving, free breakfast and lunch for the
Still
students.
feeding our students.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's,
That was an interesting meeting.
that was interesting. Yeah, it's kinda bad.
Okay.
Wow.
And, that was it.
So it's not coming out of the budget,
No,
but it is causing trouble with day-to-day,
I mean, they're
activities.
still able to serve
sure.
the students
Yeah.
and,
Right.
you
Students are
know,
still
and
being
the
fed.
students are not in that area, of
No.
course. So, but just looking at the pictures, you cannot get rid of that asset.
Oh
You
my
cannot get rid
gosh.
of that asset.
Those are two words you want far apart, plumbing explosions.
Yeah.
I would put acid in there too,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah,
that would be
acid.
1, 2, and 3, like, yeah.
So, yeah. In case you all go over there to the kitchen.
Okay, do not expect to eat lunch. Okay, I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
Okay, and when is the next meeting? Was that in November or October?
January 27th, on my birthday.
Oh,
Ooh,
Ah.
happy birthday to you on that.
I know,
happy birthday to you going to an Arrow meeting.
Right.
Okay,
maybe.
okay. If you wanna email me, I can check my schedule, cause you know, like, that's a lot to ask, so, yeah, you email me, I'll check. Thank you. So because I was not here last time, and I apologize for that, we were gonna go over the delegate assembly resolutions. And I know that we got our snazzy, glossy 2024 resolutions committee report. I did resend them via email today, sorry, sorry. It feels like, so this year they decided to do all of the do-adopts first. And this is for the delegate assembly at the conference that's coming up this weekend. So delegate assembly, 850 plus school districts in the state have the opportunity to send a delegate to the delegate assembly at conference on Saturday. That's me. And it's cool, I love it, I love the process of it, and I've been doing it, I have a lot of pins. So I've been doing it the whole time I've been on the board, which is, this'll be my 8th year. I got a lot of pins. But it has evolved in that time as well. And so this year they grouped everything in do-adopts first. And what I do wanna say is, as a reminder, as with our board meetings and agenda, the do-adopts are part of the consent agenda. So at any moment, when we are going through this at the delegate assembly, a district can stand up and say, I wanna remove it from the consent agenda, and so it will be addressed individually. And I gotta tell you, that happens to almost all of them. We like, and that's fine, like, that's the whole point, is we should have those conversations. So the do-adopts mean that the committee are recommending that that the assembly does adopt them. But yeah, there's like, they'll all be bumped. It's fine, it just makes it go a little longer, but it's fine. And so, that being said, even though they're do-adopts, I wanna hear from my board, because if I do get an opportunity to vote, I wanna make sure that I'm voting in our voice, right, so. Okay, so the first item is dual language, and this was from a very specific high school district. It was the IASB shall support legislation affirming the attainment of the Illinois State Seal of Literacy. What's happening in this district is that they have bilingual students, and even though they're not studying to be proficient in Spanish, they are receiving instruction in the in Spanish for their core curriculum topics. So they're getting multiple classes in Spanish during their class, during their day. And so this district wants to then make it, that they're getting their dual language program. Because they've received non-language classes in Spanish, in civics, AP history, geometry, et cetera. So I was like, okay, right, that made sense to me.
Is it
And
for one district or?
I mean, it applies to everybody else too, but yeah, if,
Everybody else would
Just
fall.
be
under
adopted.
that.
yeah, any other district that has a similar situation, and it's high school, but again, we all vote on all of it, so, yeah. But it's a good question, so thank you. Number 2 is the evidence-based funding, authorized charter school funding. And the do adopt is that the IASB shall urge adoption of evidence-based funding for state authorized charter schools as well. So, it's not just like random, I feel like opening a charter school, let's have fun kind of thing. It's purposefully. And just like every other public school in the state, addressing areas of student need, including low income, special education, and English learning education. So it's just sharing the funding with them as well. So, does that make sense?
Yep.
You're not like in charter schools?
I don't like charter schools.
Okay, all right, so I got 5-1, and that's okay. I'm a little frustrated with it, but I do understand that if it's a student in Illinois that falls under those, that falls under the evidence-based funding areas,
Need.
then, but noted. Fair enough. All right, so I hear 5-1.
So are charter schools under IASB as well?
If they're a state approved charter school, like if
Right.
the state is kind of like overseeing the charter school, then they would fall under the umbrella of the state of Illinois. If it's like a private charter school
Yeah.
that's funded
Like
by like
CPS
maybe
has,
a private
yes.
corporation,
Right.
Okay.
then they would not fall under that umbrella.
Yeah.
Because they're being funded from a private source, like maybe Microsoft.
And they don't need evidence-based funding, because they got Microsoft.
They don't get.
They got
Right.
Right, exactly. So, number 3 on the do adopt is TIF accountability. And I was like, oh, we just did this. So it is tax increment financing accountability. It was a Skokie School District 69. The IASB shall advocate for the Illinois General Assembly and governor to enact legislation that reforms the TIF process in a manner that is sensible and responsible, keeps communities whole, and prioritizes accountability to taxpayers. So we just went through the TIF process, and it was straightforward. It was not quick, but it was straightforward, and it worked out well. But that's our experience, and it might not be the 850 other districts' experiences. And so, this was actually 40 years since the position statement was adopted, and it's been 30 years since it's been amended. So, like, it's time. So the committee determined that the school districts face numerous challenges as it relates to TIFs, including overuse, length of TIFs, et cetera. So, yes, we need to make some changes.
Yeah.
Does that seem fair? I thought so, yeah. And again, having just gone through it with a positive outcome, I can imagine how it's not positive in many other districts, so. So last year, we had something come through that was about the centralized state agency for employment history reviews.
Yes.
I remember we had that conversation. And so it's coming up again. So we looked at something similar last year, and we will see another one that's also similar on the do not adopt, because it's the same,
Okay.
right? So, but keeps coming up, so I think we need to work on that, right? So be it resolved that the IASB shall request that the Illinois legislature require the ISBE or other appropriate entity create a statewide database, right? So we didn't wanna use the DCFS one, we talked about that last year, that was the option, and we know we need one, so let's create one, that's what that one is. We're
And that
good.
also,
We're good, yeah.
gives the opportunity to shift some of the liability in the end.
True.
Because it's a database that they build their support, and we ran through it and we did our checks and balances, you know,
That's
and
true.
something came up later,
Yeah,
it's on them versus us doing our own checks.
And then
Onus
it's
goes on us then.
well said, okay, yep, that makes sense. Okay. And, excellent, number 5 is healthcare coverage, that there should be created a unified health plan for school districts to opt into. There isn't one,
Let's do it.
right, like, and there probably should be, I was like, okay.
And they're proposing CMS, right? The state healthcare system. So, cause I was a little bit confused on that when I was.
Create
when I
a
was
unified health plan for school districts to opt into to provide equitable insurance coverage to all school staff across the state. Committee determined that the high costs of providing high-quality health insurance to district employees and the limited availability of insurance plans for school districts in multiple counties is a serious problem.
So essentially, you wanna create your own plan where all educators can become members.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have a large network of coverage that you independently kind of like own and operate. And now you're not having private insurance companies who would be taking something off the top of each of those, making the districts pay extra fees so they can remain
The co-op
operable.
or something
Yeah,
like
you're
that,
just
okay.
gonna sort of pool
Yeah,
us all
aggregate that
together,
from-
make it cheaper.
So, kinda
save
like
money.
the county does now with county employees and the state does with state employees. They're all part of a central management where they can bid
That was
better,
your CMS
become more,
question, I got you.
right, competitive.
I
Okay.
was like,
So, no, I
central,
was just
middle
trying to figure out if that was part of the state system to join
Sure.
the state system, or is it a individual separate system that the schools will be creating?
I think understand that the schools would
Be
create
it
one.
resolved,
Okay.
require Illinois Department of Central Management Services to create a unified health plan. Okay,
Okay.
so, I don't know if that answered that. but-
No, I mean, but it would be better, because,
Um,
yeah.
So the
Healthcare's
actual
crazy.
document has like 7 more paragraphs. So if you want, if you wanna learn more.
Moving right along.
It's out there, I'm just
Right
saying,
along.
it's all available. Number 6 on the do adopts was the amendment to position statement 708. And that was if your schools, if none of the schools in your district are polling places, right now they're still required to be closed on election day. And now if none of your schools are affected by that, you don't have to stay closed. So we could use that day, like if none of our buildings were being used, we could use that day, give it back to our, you like that day off?
Give it back to who?
I
No,
think
no,
that-
no, I mean,
just
we
feel
could,
like- I
it
mean, I
would be
don't
a
like that.
student
I just feel
attendance
like,
day.
So you were required the students to come in?
No, but I just feel like that's a slippery slope, I feel like, to creating more problems with getting people out to vote.
Now, that was my thought too, is if
Like,
we
'cause now it's
have,
like you might have to have daycare, you might have to have
if
like, I
our
feel like
schools
just.
are closed,
didn't
our
think about
teachers
that.
can vote in their own communities
True, I didn't
Absolutely,
think about
right.
without taking the, okay, so we would actually prefer
No,
that
The
they
status quo.
stay closed.
yes.
Yes.
On election day.
On
Yeah, I
election
didn't
day,
think about,
right.
I didn't think
Well, I
about it
mean,
that way, I just thought about,
you know.
oh, that's kind of a waste, everyone having to.
It enhances access to democracy.
It
Absolutely.
does. I mean, everybody's required to be 2 hours of, right, they can, I think,
Something like that.
Let the people.
allowed to have 2
Let the
hours
people
off.
vote.
Let the
Yeah.
People vote.
Yeah.
I like you guys, that's awesome, okay. So they
And they don't
are,
mind the
so
day.
we would actually say
Just
then,
saying.
So they're saying vote, but we're saying
so we
no.
would say no,
Right.
make them closed. Okay, love it, all right. If I get the chance, I will speak with our voice, I love it. So next are the resolutions that received a do not adopt. Number 7 was cell phone usage, and again, all of these can be yanked and they could still be appealed. So even though it's do not adopt right now, they're not on the agenda. But anybody can stand up and say, I want it on the agenda, and it'll go back on the agenda. Cell phone usage, specifically, school districts will be required to create a policy that states that student may not use wireless communication devices during the instructional time. So the argument is understandable, however, the committee didn't support a statewide mandate. So that was their, whenever they start using musts,
Yep,
Mhm.
that's
When
what
I-
I lost, that's what lost me, cause it's like
Right.
sometimes
Right?
it is an educational advantage.
anytime we start saying, and those are the ones that never make it, when we start saying must, like, yeah. Okay, so must is do not adopt, okay, so do not, all right. Office, let's see, Office of Inspector General, South Cook Division, the IASB shall support requests and encourage legislation to develop a state-funded Office of Inspector General. So, all I see is dollar signs, right? And so why it's a do not adopt is what I'm hearing is support the do not. Compelling arguments were shared to establish no IG, but there are laws and processes in place already that apply. So like, don't need to do this because that exists in other
And
ones.
departments that don't exercise and enforce those laws, and
We don't need another.
staff that they don't utilize
need
to do what
another
they're
one.
supposed to do,
Okay,
and so
alright.
why would we build another one?
Hear you. Okay, so no. 9 is Faith's Law, so EHRs, the employment, the database that we talked about, so this is just a repeat.
Flip flop of that.
And then number 10, Rachel and I had a little chit chat about this because I sent it out. So right now,
Right?
right now, the proposal is to require all school board candidates to have a criminal background check before submitting their petitions.
It makes sense to me.
I'm sorry, but that seems like a slam dunk. The argument for do not adopt is that, so I really want input on this one, cause I'm not sure which way to go. The do not adopt is because it would make it a different standard from other elected positions, because other elected positions don't require background checks, which,
And that in a,
I know.
it's a good idea on the surface as it sounds, but it impedes democracy in essentially.
It should have,
Because
it
there's
should,
no other office, including
Well, I
the
would
president of the
lobby that
United States,
they all
who has to go
should.
through a background check
Yes.
before they can run
but
for
it
an
should,
election.
it should be something where it includes like only things that involve like detriment to children.
Yes.
Because I think that's the point, like when I go get my fingerprints done as a school employee, like that's what they're looking for. And I think that like if I'm gonna be a school board member, I'm gonna have access to buildings, I'm gonna have access to children potentially. So that I feel like should be a line in the sand. Now, I think that like anything beyond that scope is something that does not affect my ability to have this position or my ability to have a voice in the community. So I think that like there should be a search, but if they're gonna do it only to a certain extent, where if I had like, you know, issues 20 years ago where, you know, maybe I had a weapon in my car, nobody was hurt, like that would not fall under that same guidance because it didn't involve me affecting children.
So what
That-
this says too is that they would have require all school board candidates to have a criminal background check before submitting their petition.
Right, but here lies the problem. Who writes the rules? Who's gonna write the rules? Who's gonna govern the rules? So in other words, just like you said, you do the check, you might have something slightly in your background 20 years ago, is that a disqualification? Does that
Like
disqualify you or
anything
not?
that hits or
Now,
the
the question is,
specific
who writes
concerns.
those rules now?
Mm-hmm.
So does the state of Illinois write the rules, or what are, when you do a background check, what would be considered a disqualifier? Cause that then impedes democracy once again. You know, and that's why in elections and when you're going through your candidacy, it's left to the people. And left to the person who you are running against to do their due diligence, to dig into your background and discover things about you. As same as the people can. Because if you left it to the government, then the government would use anything possible that they could use to disqualify that candidate so their party can advance.
And I almost interrupted you and I
I'm sorry,
apologize for
apologize.
that. No, you did great. And I shouldn't have said, my concern is I can't believe that we haven't. So I wonder if there's something about once they are in the position.
Well, I
don't know.
I thought that there were laws where you couldn't sit on a school board, like if you've been convicted of a felony or things like that, so I guess you could be on
You
the
can't
ballot.
volunteer.
Cause I know like we had in a former school district that I worked in, we had that, where there was a gentleman who was convicted of a felony. He got elected onto the school board and then was eventually removed from that position. Because it came out that he had that, and there was state language, so I guess that there is a policy for getting that if there's an issue with somebody who gets on the board.
Got it.
You know, like David said, it's one of those where I feel like, again, to limit some of those things beforehand and kind of blanket appeal, I do think is an issue. I mean, I do see like if, again, the access to children is the thing that like really kind of gets in my craw.
That concerns me.
you know, and would be one more page in my packet.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, for those of you that just submitted your paperwork again, so there are checks and balances if they're actually elected, is the thing. So this would be the individuals running for their local Board of Education. Like I said, I can't
So I
believe
guess,
that
I
we
guess,
don't-
I guess the thought of this would be, if we like did the check earlier,
Yeah.
you might
But
not
that
have to go
could
through the
keep people from
process
running.
later.
Absolutely, that will keep you from running.
So we
Which
hear that
impedes
a lot at
democracy.
conference, is all the barriers, you know, there's laws now for districts required to pay for daycare. If our parents that are on the board, if it would keep them from coming to a meeting, right? Like, we would need to, because that would be one more thing that could keep somebody from running, is either the expense or the hassle or the one more page in the in the packet. Okay,
And I mean, you think about it, it
Okay.
would somewhere along the line end up in Congress in Illinois. Which if they ever ran background checks there
Oh, yeah.
before they ran,
well, like I said, I would believe that they should do it like everybody should,
Yeah,
but
right.
so knowing we would be able to have a check and balance if they actually made it into, okay, I'm hearing you. All right, so the do not adopt is don't create barriers to running, because we know that there's ways to check on that if they're actually seated.
And everyone will have the day off, so they can also vote for who they want.
There you go. Okay, all right, I think that's enough. We good? Are you all stunned into silence? Okay, it's 7:45. We're like, come on, Colin.
it was easier this year than
I
it was
didn't do it last month, I'm really sorry. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so if there is nothing further, we can move on to our action items. Consent agenda item A is to approve the monthly transaction reports for October of 2024. Number 2 is to approve fund balance reports for October 2024. Number 3 is to approve expenditure report and projected payroll report for November 2024. Number 4 is to approve board minutes from the regular meeting of October 16th, 2024. Number 5 is to approve the closed session minutes from the regular meeting of October 16th, 2024. Number 6 is to approve destruction of closed session tapes from July of 2020. And number 7 is to approve the personnel recommendations as listed with additions, leaves of absence, resignation with intent to retire, and resignations.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Excellent. And a second, please?
Second.
Ooh, the Michaels are on fire tonight. And a roll call, please.
Mike Wallmiller,
Yay.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
David Shepherd,
yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. Item B is to approve one additional pre-K teacher with space at Southwest, based on the needs that we've been discussing via email.
Motion to approve
Excellent.
action item B.
Great,
Second, please.
telling you. And a roll call, please.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Mike Wallmiller,
Yay.
Denise Jones, yes. Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. Item C is to establish the tax levy hearing date and time, which will be for our December meeting, as reported on by Mr. Eric Grossi. First motion, please.
Motion to approve action item C.
Excellent. And a second?
I'll second.
Great. And a roll call, please?
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Mike Wallmiller,
Yay.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. Now we have the hearing date and time. If I could have a motion, please, to act on item D, approve tentative tax levy as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Great. And a second, please.
Second.
Great. And a roll call, please.
Mike Wallmiller,
Yay.
Dr. Michael Thomas.
Yay.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. Item E is to approve the resolution authorizing the intervention and proceedings before the State of Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board, as was mentioned by Mr. Grossi. If I could have a first motion, please.
Motion to approve item, or it's E, sorry.
It is item E.
Me.
Great, and a second?
A second.
Thanks, Stephen. And a roll call, please.
Dr. Michael Thomas,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Mike Miller,
Yay.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great, thank you. Item F is to approve the resolution regarding the property tax, the PTAB, Property Tax Appeal Board, from BMO Harris Bank. First motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. And a second, please.
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Dr. Michael Thomas,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Michael Miller,
Yay.
You don't want to, I know.
Uh-huh.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I know. Prefer not to give $20,000. Okay, item G, we will approve the resolution providing for the issue of not to exceed $6.2 million general obligation limited tax pool bonds, bless you, of the district for the purpose of increasing the working cash fund of the district, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the proposed sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof, also as described by Mr. Grossi earlier this evening. If I could have a first motion to approve that resolution, please.
First motion to approve.
Great, and a second?
Second.
Excellent, and a roll call, please.
Michael Miller,
Yay.
Dr. Michael Thomas, David Shepherd,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. Next, we will recess to close session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity pursuant to section 2C of the Open Meetings Act. We do have action to take when we come back into open session. I have no idea or suggestion about when that might be. We will not be live streaming, and you're welcome to stay or not.
We need to do a roll call.
And if we could have a roll call to go into closed session, please.
Motion.
Motion.
For do you want to close session?
Yes, please.
Michael Miller first. I'll second.
Second, great. And a roll call.
Michael Miller, Denise Jones, yes. Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes, yes, yes.
Dr. Michael Thomas, Colleen Clemzak.
Yeah.
Closed session at 7:52.
All right. Thank you all for being here and
Thank
for
you so
presenting.
much.
This,
For all the good
again,
news.
this was a very meaty meeting, so I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And grab your cupcakes.
Nothing but celebration.
I know.